Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Jean Dorio.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, we have our very own Dr. Thomas Polucki here, who is a local chiropractor. Welcome.
Good to be back.
Hey, welcome back.
Good to see you. And what are we talking about today, sir?
Oh, I don't know. Quality of life, seniors.
Quality of life? That
turkeys.
sounds good.
No turkeys.
No turkeys. Turkeys tomorrow.
No,
Turkeys tomorrow.
Gobble, gobble.
I just posted a scene of me feeding wild turkey.
Where was this at?
The Mauna Kea.
In the Big Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Did they chase you though? Because
No,
I understand that. I hear
No.
they have bad temperament.
Well, these didn't.
Okay. Good.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Because when we were in Kauai,
Right?
we fed them all the time.
The
And
wild turkeys.
yes.
They're great.
They,
So-
they run from you, actually.
Yeah.
You have to be very still,
Right.
and then they will venture around you, and they'll walk
They're
around
cautious.
you.
Yeah.
Very cautiously. Did you find that to be true?
Yeah. They're great. The peacocks were the meanest birds.
Yes. You aren't kidding.
They
Oh.
peck you hard. They're hoping that you'll drop the food so they don't have to bother you, but they don't just try to eat they like really peck hard.
They do, and they're aggressive. They really are. They come right up to you. That was my experience.
Wow.
And when you run, they run after you. It was scary. It really was, because you don't know what they're going to do.
So did you go to that place next to the river? Is that where you're talking about, where you
Yes.
saw those birds?
Yes.
Yeah, that is great.
Gives me the shivers just thinking,
Thinking about it. The birds.
Oh. No, but some of them are not aggressive, but most of them are.
Huh.
Yeah, those
Most
peacocks
of them
are mean.
Ooh, but the turkeys, they're adorable. They
Yeah.
really are.
Wow.
Talk constantly too. Did you find that? Constantly.
Wonder what that means.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But they were saying, "Hi, it's good to see you."
Now we're gonna chase you, the peacocks.
No, not the
We have to-
peacocks. No, the turkeys don't chase you.
Okay.
No.
But
No.
do peacocks talk? Do they gobble? What do they do?
No,
What-
Yes,
make,
they do.
They
but
do.
they make
They
a
make a-
strange
yeah.
noise.
Yeah.
They do, and it's not a very pleasant noise.
No,
I didn't
it's-
find it so.
No, it's not.
It's more of a shriek.
Yeah.
Now, anybody listening to this conversation I think,
What did I
out there
just
could
tune
be
into?
going, they're talking about birds, and we have turkeys and peacocks now, wild turkeys. And wild turkey, isn't that a drink or alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wild
so
turkey?
They would probably thought we were talking about,
That's a
what is
drink.
it, as a bourbon or
It's
something
a
like
drink,
that?
really?
Yeah. So when you said
Well,
wild turkey, everybody's ears at home lit up, and they said, "Wow, that's my cup of tea," literally.
No, I'm not a whiskey drinker.
No.
I had it once when I was 18, and I was at a party.
Last year.
No, I wouldn't be 18 again for all the tea in China, believe me. But I had a party at my house because my parents were out of town. And somebody brought over a bottle of a big bottle of brown. That's all I knew it was. It was brown, but it was liquor. And oh my goodness, I got so sick. I was
Wait, why were you drinking it?
I was I was doing some very
In the
funny
basement,
things.
or-
No, it was in my house.
Right. But just
And
because
in
you
my
have something,
backyard.
wait, was it buried? You heard the drink, the whiskey. Why was it in your backyard? Oh, you were.
We had the party.
Oh,
in
you
the
had a party. I
backyard.
missed that part.
Yes, it was a party.
I
And
get
that was
it.
the very first time I had ever tasted it.
Ah,
Because
wow.
my mother used to drink it, and so did my father. But I didn't dare touch it
Until.
until I had that party at my house when my parents were out of town. Oh
The
my
good old
goodness.
days.
Oh
But
my
you
goodness.
wouldn't ever go back to
I
that, would
would
you?
not, absolutely not drink another drop of that brown liquid. It was horrible. And I got so sick. Oh my goodness. I'll never do that again. And I never did. I never have. And I never will.
Well, maybe we
It
can
was a lesson well
liven
learned.
this conversation up a little bit, because tomorrow we're going to be eating turkey, dressing, ham, and I don't want people to think if they have something brown that they're going to get sick from it.
No, I don't think so.
And we do hope that our older adults have a happy holiday. There are some, I think, that to a certain degree might not have Thanksgiving tomorrow. We do have at the senior center. I think they've taken 450 reservations
Oh my goodness,
for
that's
Thanksgiving,
wonderful.
and it's just going to be outstanding as it usually is. The Lions Club from Castaic will be putting it on, and they've done a great job.
And you have the room for it now.
Absolutely.
That's what's so nice. That great big open dining area, room for a band there, and it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely. And that's where I would go if I wasn't going up to my daughter and son-in-law. He does all the cooking on Thanksgiving.
And so many of much of the food is contributed by restaurants here in Santa Clarita, and so everybody is involved. The students from even our Saugus High School will be there. I think there are 100 of
that's
the
wonderful.
students from Saugus High that will be saying we're giving back to the community, and this is how we are doing it, and we will be serving our older adults there at Bella Vita.
Yeah, can I just say that we were so impressed with the students at Saugus. Apart from the horrible thing that happened a couple of weeks ago, prior to that, we did a craft fair because, Tony does the crafts, and we did a weekend event at Saugus. It was the first time. I mean, we've lived here 20 years, but it was the first time that we were ever in the school. And we've done these craft fairs before, but we've never ever experienced anything like this. We drove up, and immediately there were high school students to unload us and get us set up and take care of everything. And then when we were done with the show, they brought it all back to the car. We were so impressed with just how outgoing and friendly and service oriented. We were like, we don't know what they're teaching here at the school, but these are the nicest high school students we ever seen. And then a week later, that horrible event happened.
Terrible.
So I don't like to focus on that, but I just want to say what a great job that administration over at Saugus is doing, and how nice the kids are. And I think they get some kind of credit for the community service thing that they do, but it doesn't matter. They were great.
Well, it was interesting. I had dinner with a friend of mine who's a retired LAPD, and he was telling me how impressed he was with the students at Saugus High the day this incident occurred.
Amazing, yeah.
Because they did everything right as far as going for cover and taking care of themselves when that incident occurred. He said they did an incredible job of that. And that is to be attributed to the staff and the leaders at that school. Because from what I understand, I think 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, they had a whole exercise of what to do in case of a shooter.
Wow.
And Spence said they did a fantastic job. They really did what they were supposed to do, and probably saved a lot of lives that way.
Yeah. So on a lighter note.
Yes, quality of life.
Quality of life.
Yes.
So as Dr. Dorio was mentioning, there may be some people listening right now that maybe don't have the family support, maybe don't have the ability to enjoy the holiday as much. And it's real easy, especially this time of year, to start feeling bad about that kind of stuff. So the best way to deal with that is to get involved. The more you isolate yourself, the worse it's going to get. And the more involved, because as you said, the senior center, we just did a food drive for the Veteran Services Collaborative here in Santa Clarita. There are so many nonprofit organizations, and I know, Barbara, you're involved, that are always happy to accept help in any way that they can get it, not just financial, but volunteer work. So there's so many opportunities. If you're feeling like, well, I don't feel like I have anyone or anything to look forward to, the best way to deal with that is to make it happen. Get involved. Get involved in the community. And there's so many opportunities here. I don't know all of the different organizations, but there's a lot to choose from.
Oh,
and
yes,
if there are any
there
questions about it, just go online, or if you're not that computer savvy, call here at the radio station, because the radio station is, as far as I'm concerned, the hub of this community.
Absolutely. They're involved in almost everything that goes on up here.
Yeah, so they can point you in the right direction. As far as I'm concerned, that is the best medicine for that sickness, that feeling of disconnection, that feeling of being isolated, that feeling of not being able to contribute anymore. You can turn it all around with stepping outside of it and giving of your time, if nothing else, to help others.
Another word for it is loneliness.
Yeah, sure.
And that is, in my opinion, is a negative word.
Well, it's
But it's a devastating word.
yeah, for some people, sure.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, the older you get, the less of your friends are going to be around. You may not have the close connections to your family. A lot of people are moving out of the state.
Yes, they are.
And unfortunately, we hear it too often that an older a parent will move to an area to be with their children, but their children are too busy. Their children have to, work around the clock to make it make sense. And it can be very discouraging. But even if your family isn't there to support you, there's always opportunities to create a new family, to get involved.
And one of those ways is the senior center.
Especially here in Santa Clarita,
Oh,
we
yeah,
have
absolutely.
the senior center. There are so many nonprofits that are out there that if you're able to get out of your home. If you have transportation, and even if you don't, we can arrange transportation.
That's right.
You can be out there doing things in the community and finding purpose. And by having purpose, that the social isolation that one might experience, the loneliness that one might experience, it dissolves. It goes away. I mean, it's so much better. And but we do have individuals in Santa Clarita, and I ask our whole community, which we have done before. We have watched each other and made sure that we will note and our neighbors and people around us when they might be having that isolation setting in, and to say hello, make sure they're okay, and identify them in your mind, so that those around you in your neighborhood will say, okay, that person might need to be invited to our Thanksgiving this year. Let's just work on that. Let's make sure that no one lifts a fork by themselves. We need to try to do that. And we have done very well here in Santa Clarita. Every year, we pipe up on this radio show and say, please, make sure you're recognizing those who might be out there who will spend Thanksgiving by themselves. And everybody seems to step forward. It's been always great. Every year after Thanksgiving, every year after the New Year's, I hear these great stories from those individuals who knew that they might not have people around them, but did. And people reached out, people they didn't even know, strangers, and said, "Hey, come on over. We'll have you over, invite you over for turkey dressing, peacocks and wild turkeys, and some whiskey,
We don't want the
and some
peacocks.
whiskey, the brown stuff." They had a great time because I think people here in Santa Clarita are different. I think they and maybe no different from New York or Seattle or anywhere else. But I tell you, here we are a community, and it shows after the sad incident we had 2 weeks ago how this community is, and it comes from our children, it comes from those parents, it comes from those older adults. All of us, know that we want to flourish, and we want to make sure everybody, from a toddler to someone who's in a wheelchair, that they do all right. And I'm very proud that Santa Clarita has always been like that, and we've never given up the ideals that we have to be human beings to other human beings.
It's interesting. I had my toast and cup of coffee this morning, and it was very quiet in the house because it didn't have the television on, didn't have the radio on. It was just
That's great.
quiet. And I was reading the paper, and all of a sudden I got up and I walked outside and stood on my front porch and just looked out at the neighborhood. And it was interesting because the home to the right of me across the street, he was out in the front yard.
In the rain?
No, well, yeah, but he was sweeping off the leaves that had fallen. And the house to the left of me, they were packing the car ready to go off for a weekend, a long weekend.
Oh, cool.
And here come the cars down the street, and the water was just gushing down. And all three of my trash cans, with the force of the water, had been turned around. And I thought, okay. So I put on my house coat and took my umbrella and went out there and straightened up the trash cans. And you wouldn't have believed the amount of garbage that had gathered underneath those trash cans from all
flowing
the
down the
water
hill?
coming
Oh.
down the hill. So, of course, as
mean
soon
like
as I
leaves and
moved
things like
them,
that?
it unleashed all of this mess. I thought, well, I better do it to the other two. And I did the same thing, and all this mess went down. And right at the end of the street, which is maybe a fourth of a block down, is the gutter where it goes. Everything goes down in there. But I couldn't believe the mess that was wrapped around the wheels of those trash cans. But it was so interesting because watching everybody doing stuff, and there was a young man out there walking his dog, which he does every morning. I see him.
Rain or shine.
And it was raining, and I thought, wow, it's good to be alive, It really it was good to go out there even in the rain and do those stupid things like shuffling trash cans around. I thought of myself when I came in. I thought, what did you do that for? You must have looked like an idiot. But it was I've never done that before. And I thought, wow.
Yeah, but you're aware.
But the rain, and I had my little kitty cat umbrella and my thick red house coat, and I trudged out there and in my slippers and got them all wet. But it was interesting, really was.
But you have purpose. You were looking around the world and seeing the beauty that we have here in Santa Clarita, and especially with the rain, since we've had the drought. So here you're seeing that, but then you're looking at life and knowing that you have to unclutter the gutter, and get the water flowing. So but your life is flowing because you
Yes.
have purpose, and
Yes.
that's what we always ask our seniors to do. Find your purpose. I mean, everybody, you think that you end up retiring and, you know, finding, then you start maybe having health problems. You think that you're going to, end up doing nothing, and you have to, sit in your home and become lonely. That's not what we see as life. And yours, Barbara, you're not seeing that in life in that way. And it's just
and I
great
don't
to
intend
hear.
to. I do not intend to.
And that's perfect. That is so perfect.
And that word loneliness comes in.
Yeah. We call it social isolation and loneliness. That's a big topic now
That's
with
right.
our older adults.
And we need to take a break, don't we? Old Eagle Eye over there, watching. Come on, Barbara. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 AM, FM, 1220 AM, KHTS.
If you find yourself in an issue with the IRS and they're threatening you, or you can't sleep at night, remember this name, Anthem Tax Services. Within 2 months, they saved me $25,000.
If you are a small business owner or self-employed and owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call Anthem Tax Services today. 866-630-2694. We have saved millions of dollars in tax debt, and our goal is to reduce your tax debt to as little as possible. Call 866-630-2694. We are confident enough in our services to offer a 100% money-back guarantee if we can't put you in a better position than where you started. Call for a free consultation, and we'll also take care of your tax case study for free, saving you hundreds of dollars. Call 866-630-2694. Anthem Tax Services, the trusted name in tax resolution. 866-630-2694. 866-630-2694.
Experience luxury senior living at Oakmont of Valencia, Oakmont's brand new community in Santa Clarita. At Oakmont of Valencia, residents will enjoy 5-star amenities, including state-of-the-art movie theaters, spacious custom-built apartment homes, and sweeping views of the valley, all close to shopping, restaurants, and medical centers. Enjoy resort-style living, professional concierge services, a luxurious salon and day spa, and world-class dining. At Oakmont of Valencia, you'll embrace retirement in style. For details, visit oakmontofvalencia.com.
The Art Gallery of Santa Clarita Artists Association, located in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Railroad and Main, features local members' original artwork with changing exhibits every 2 months. Purchase affordable art for your home or as gifts. Open Friday through Sunday or by appointment. Artists wishing to join the SCAA can visit santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming shows, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
This holiday music is brought to you by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, your community health partner. To learn more about their award-winning care, call 1-888-HEALING or visit online at providence.org/holycross.
We host a lot of company events.
KHTS owner Jerry Cerati Goldman.
My first call is always to AV Party Rentals.
AV Party Rentals has everything you need for your company party. Visit their large and beautiful showroom in Newhall and discover how AV Party Rentals can create that extra accent for your company party. No worrying, no stress during setup, because their delivery staff is friendly, efficient, and willing to go that extra step to make things easier. On Newhall Avenue and Carl Court, or plan your party online at avparty.com.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And we're speaking with Dr. Thomas Polucki, a local chiropractor, and we're talking about quality of life.
Quality of life, wild turkeys and peacocks on the attack, and a little brown liquid, whiskey, and lots of good things. But we were talking about social isolation, and I think that's a a big topic that everybody faces throughout the United States. Oh, I should say throughout the world. It happens, and we have to just be aware of it, and I think we are. And I can't tell you how many lectures that I have seen, titles of that are out there that we can learn and continue to learn in AARP magazine, and in some of the medical journals that I read. But then also going to the level of the periodicals and this information that is out there saying, be more aware of the people around you, be more aware of older adults who might be fighting off that depression and trying to be out there. And sometimes they just need a little push to help them out, to get them motivated, to get them going. And sometimes there are things that are going on with them that you can kindle a different type of reaction by just saying certain words and just being there for them.
It's interesting because my daughter calls me every single day. Mom, how are you doing?
Cool.
And it's so gratifying that occurs, and that's something that I think when you have older parents, give them a call. Pick up the telephone and say, hi, how are you? It really means a lot. Absolutely. I can say that because it's happening to me personally. There's not a day that's gone by in the last 3, 4 months, 5 months that she hasn't called me. Wow. And said, hey, Mom, how you doing? Or she'll text me. And everything okay? And it's really, it makes me feel good. It really does.
And
it really does.
We're all busy, right? We're all busy. We're all, we have things that we have to do to survive. But it takes a minute. It takes less than 5 minutes, just to put down your cell phone, to get off your computer, to, take a step up and not read the paper and say, well, I'm not going to go get my coffee now. I'm going to give my mom or my dad a call. All it takes is that little bit, doesn't it?
It does. Makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. And it's really appreciated.
Yeah,
it really is.
And, we find patients all the time that, I think sometimes they're sometimes even telling us, through little innuendos and words that, you can say, hey, maybe there is a touch of something going on there. But, it takes time to be able to draw that out from people. It takes time to be able to recognize that. And as clinicians, this is what we have to do.
Yeah, it's sad when you realize that the highlight of someone's day is going to their doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, too many doctors are already too pressed for time to be able to acknowledge that person as anything more than, okay, what is wrong here? What is the most appropriate? What is the quickest, most expedient answer to this problem? When in reality, the problem is that this person is isolated in their life, in just about every aspect of their life, and they're not taking care of themselves with nutrition, taking care of themselves with exercise, but the problem is that doctor, they can't be that guidance for them. They can if they want to be out of business because insurance companies don't pay for that.
No, that's true.
So,
but you talk with your clients.
I talk all the time, and
Yes.
I like treating in an open setting where people can eavesdrop, because we never discuss private information.
No,
if they
that's
need
very
to, we
true.
can talk in private.
Right.
But out in the open, it's like this radio show all the time.
Yes, I
It's
know.
always exchanging information about, oh, well, do this exercise or eat this food, or, I'm having a problem with this. So I really like that open setting. And for a while, so many people were saying, oh, yeah, you can't do that. That's not. I'm like, wait a second. Emergency rooms are open settings. They've got this drape that's supposed to be privacy. Yeah, that's not privacy at all. So it's not bizarre that a doctor-patient interaction is out in the open. That's something new. That's something that has been created more recently than anything.
The role of confidentiality.
Yeah.
Right?
So
And it still isn't.
Yeah. So we have the option for people who are just really private people in order to be seen like that. But the overwhelming majority gets so much more out of being around. Like the other day, it felt like a party in the office more than anything else. People were chit-chatting back and forth and talking about their experience at the gym, because I have this nearly 90-year-old woman who goes to the gym every day.
Cool.
And this 40-something who is like a fan of hers because she sees her at the gym. They know each other from the gym. They didn't know that they were both coming to me, and they met up in my office, and they start, it's like a party atmosphere in there a lot of the time. So that's something I think missing in most healthcare.
Absolutely.
It's
the
so
teammanship.
sterile,
In and out, 15 minutes, you're done. See you later. Let's look at the computer. Let's type everything up, and here's your prescription, and goodbye.
It's interesting because my oncologist, Dr. Black, he comes in, he'll sit in the chair opposite me, and we'll sit and chat. And he asks me how I am, how I've been, any problems, how's the family, He's very patient friendly.
Wow.
And he sits there and talks to me.
That's exceptional.
And not many doctors do that.
No, well,
very few, really.
We're lucky in my practice. I do house calls, have an office. Dr. Terrazino and I have, and Kristen Jordan, who's our PA, we give time to our patients, and that's the most valuable thing that we can give back to them. We give time and we listen. That is so important. And everybody said, "Wow, that's great that you do that, and that's great. Thank you for taking the time." And I sit and I go, this should not be the exception. This should be the rule. And as you know, the statistics for life expectancy in the United States came out yesterday. And what did it show?
Down
for
again.
The third straight year.
Isn't it 4 now?
I thought it was 4, and they keep saying third. So
well, how can it be third every year?
I know.
It was third last year.
That's what I thought too. That last year was the third year, and this should be the fourth. But the question has to be, in the country that spends more
twice as much as
any other country, that we're statistically getting worse. And of course, they'll blame it on opioids, and they'll blame it on suicides. But the fact is that, I'm of the belief that we are not giving time to the patients, and their care rendered to them by physicians is not worthy, and not allowing them to sustain themselves, and they get into trouble. And healthcare with insurance or not having insurance, and the cost of it, all of it is playing a role. It's terrible. These terrible factors have now met in a perfect storm. That as we look back, and as our grandkids look back on us, they will say, "This is what happened to them. This is why they circled the drain and then eventually went down."
Here's the very sad reality. We know a lot of the same people, and I was talking to a cardiologist who told me that if they spend about 15 minutes in a consultation and do a stent, a surgical procedure to open a valve in the a vessel in the heart, they'll get reimbursed about $1,500 or $15,000. I can't remember the numbers. However, if they sit for 45 minutes with that person and step by step go over a plan of diet and exercise with them, they'll get $15 reimbursement.
It constantly happens. I spent 10 hours with family just recently, and got paid for it, and it came and I calculated it because I got, and it bothers me a little bit because I have to be a business person too and survive. But when a physician who has 40 years of experience and I'm being paid $11 an hour, that's not going to cut it.
Exactly.
So these are the things that are going on with the system that it has, and I have, of course, the prejudice of why it is taking place and the costs and the profit that is being yanked out of it, that insurance companies and hospitals and pharmaceutical companies are taking away from the American people. That this is my opinion, but it's not something that is put out there and with a banner, other than me and you and a few other people who talk about this. Nobody wants to talk about it, do they?
Well, I don't know that this system is going to change for the better anytime soon. It certainly isn't going to come down from the politicians. I don't even want to get anywhere near that conversation. Certainly not going to change from the insurance companies. It's certainly not going to change from the pharmaceutical companies. And when you put those three bodies together, the politics, the drug companies, and the insurance companies, that is the overwhelming amount of influence on the direction of healthcare in this country. So when the three people that influence healthcare the most, let's just call them people, the three organizations that influence the shape of healthcare in this country the most, have no agenda to change things, you have to realize that it comes down to ourselves. We are not going to get the answers that we need from our leaders in government, from our leaders in the people who say they're there for us when times are bad, the insurance companies, or even the institutions. You're an outspoken, I don't want to say whistleblower, but I mean
I accept that.
Okay, of what's wrong with the local institutions, and yet nothing. I believe you are the eternal optimist on this point. I'm a little bit more cynical. So I have given up on expecting those kinds of things to change with all the power behind it. Instead, I am changing things the way that I want to see them. And the one thing is, I am only one person. However, I am medical director to over 300 functional medicine practitioners in America, and I've learned some things by being in that position, and that is the more that you can automate a system, and we're seeing this in hospitals. The new billboards are this person on a smartphone with their doctor smiling, like healthcare, 24/7 access to healthcare. So it is coming to that. We're going to see this, whether we like it, whether we agree with it or not, is a different issue. We are going to see more of the virtual practice, more of medicine. We are going to see more of it automated. We are going to see less actual physical contact between a doctor and a patient. And there may not be any problems with that as long as it's done properly and not just, I'm having this, pick up the prescription at the pharmacy. Because that is not the answer. That more of the same, regardless of whether it's paid for by the taxpayer or whether it's done on an artificial intelligence algorithm or not, that more of the same is not the answer. It has to be a completely different thing. So we are creating an automated system of what we try to get our patients engaged in, which is the diet, which is the exercise, which is the daily rituals that support healthy lifestyle livings. And I've been working pretty much around the clock for the past several months of creating that virtual interaction with my patients because I can't be there. Even if I wanted to spend an hour with a patient, that is still 1 hour out of their life. However, that 1 hour can set them up for
the rest of their life.
24/7 online mobile access to have that information to them that is not just some kind of sales presentation, that is not some infomercial for this or that or whatever, but is actually, okay, what am I going to eat today? When is the best time to eat it? What foods am I going to have to go shop for? How am I going to cook this thing? How is it going to taste good? What exercises am I going to do in the morning, in the midday, in the evening that are most appropriate for me, for my problems, for my injuries, for my disability, whatever it may be? And it's at the touch of a button. Because they're certainly not going to get that in their 6-minute visit with their on their annual checkup or whatever the case may be.
And that's what it is. It's time.
Yeah.
You know, that is the clinical factor for all our patients for the doctors to give them time. And if we were to come out with a remedy for the whole problems that are out there, I mean, to me, it's simple. Doctors need to spend more time with their patients and talk to them and get an idea where they're coming from. But it's with the virtual treatments that we're going to get, I don't see that happening. I think it'll be even a bigger factor where you get online with your doctor or nurse and they ask you 3 questions and you're done. You know, I've always said, if you go to your doctor and they haven't asked you 20 questions, then you haven't seen your doctor. That's bottom line. And, I do rapid fire. I mean, in 2 minutes, I can ask 20 questions, yes and no, and see where that leads, especially if they've got a problem. It's not that hard to do when you have it down. And most doctors, through their schooling, they get that ability to do that, but they don't do it. They don't have time. 1, 2, 3 questions, and they're sending you off for your CAT scan.
But that's the beauty of making home calls.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you came to see Russ, you were there
For
30
dinner.
minutes.
For dinner.
Yes. You were there 30 plus minutes, just generally talking.
Yeah.
And getting a feel for what was going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so appreciated because when I would take him to a doctor, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Done.
Goodbye.
Yep.
See you in 3 weeks.
Yep.
And that's what it was.
Yep.
And we need to take a break, don't we? Yes. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Get an amazing head start on the holiday season with the best deals of the year during Black Friday at the outlets at Tejon. Shop extended hours all weekend, starting Thanksgiving at 6 p.m. until midnight. Doors open again 6 a.m. on Black Friday and 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Save on top of the everyday 65% on over 70 of the top brands in fashion, accessories, and home goods, like Coach Factory Store, H&M, Pottery Barn Outlet, Nike Factory Store, Michael Kors, Levi's Outlet Store, and more. Outlets at Tejon, your must-shop stop for the holidays, located just 40 minutes north off I-5. Check out the best deals of the season at TejonOutlets.com or find us on Facebook.
Shop your holiday style at the outlets at Tejon during Black Friday weekend. Shop must-have brands and the best deals during extended hours, starting Thanksgiving from 6 p.m. till midnight, and on Black Friday starting at 6 a.m. Go to TejonOutlets.com for hours.
Aloha, friends! Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location. at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And we're speaking with Dr. Thomas Polucki about quality of life. Yes.
Yes.
And you know what's interesting? I had an experience, a couple of friends of mine who live in Las Vegas came to visit a couple of weeks ago, and she had just had major shoulder surgery and was in a lot of pain. He had had both knee surgery.
Both? Wow.
Yes. And the doctors down there had prescribed opioids for the pain. And she called me, and because I had given her some CBD. And
Dr. Barbara?
Yeah, no. Well, there were drops, CBD drops, that my son had
Good
given
stuff.
me.
It
Yes.
is good stuff.
And they were kind of reticent. And I said, why don't you give my son a call and have him talk to you? They did. And she called me a couple of days ago, and she said, please tell your son thank you very much. He said he recommended that we go to one of the dispensaries in Las Vegas and ask for specific CBD oils and salves. And he gave them 2 or 3 to choose from, which they purchased, and their pain has completely gone because of these CBD oils and salves that Scott recommended that they try. And it's amazing. And it's not the opioid.
You're right. They're not using opioids.
No,
they're not getting
they're not.
addicted. They're not risking life and limb and the possibility
That's right.
of dying from a opioid overdose. That crisis is here, but it's been brought on because we just have not we've allowed certain industries to take over, convince the public by their advertisement that this is the way you go, and then you get stuck on these things. And I do think some people are more susceptible to others physiologically, and they get addicted, and eventually they might die. So that contributes, and it says in those articles, right, Dr. Polucki, it says that opioid crisis has played a role, but the role really played in this has been industry that has promoted the use of narcotics that then has turned around and killed some of the people in this country. They need to be held responsible, but of course they're not.
Well,
That's not
actually,
gonna happen.
they are. They are being held responsible. They are.
Monetarily.
Well, yeah, they're going
They're
after
not-
them
they're-
now.
They're not going to jail though.
Yeah, well,
they
we'll see.
They need to go to jail. Yeah. Put them behind bars, lock them up.
It's so much bigger than that, but yes, the problem is that we've been told and sold for many, many years now that no matter what the problem is, the answer comes in this pill. Just ask your doctor to give you this handful of pills, and everything's going to be perfect. And that is not good science. It's not good medicine, and it's not good practice.
Nope.
But that's what we've been sold as healthcare for so long, and it's too easy. It's too easy to make that the machinery that everybody gets processed through, that nobody's looking to change it. And that's why people like me are saying enough is enough. I'm not accepting that excuse anymore. I'm not accepting that, oh, well, we've done everything that we can for you. No.
No.
You just one prescription after another, one procedure after another, but none of the real underlying problems have ever been sought out, much less addressed.
That's right.
So that's why I do things the way that I do them.
And you give time to your patients, and that's the biggest difference that needs to be done in our whole country. Dr. Polucki, thank you for being on the show today. If people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
661-753-9340.
Appreciate it. You brought wild turkey, peacocks, brown whiskey to this show, but we appreciate the endeavors that you are making with your patients in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers in-Home Care and Advanced Audiology. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.